know how to act. Empire bats will give you a fight. Eating apples, don't stay in night. They rest for a minute, they be free. Then they're eating every apple in your apple tree. They don't care about nada, not zilch, no nothing. Except bringing about an orchard's destruction. There's another side to this, and if I did not defend them, then I would be remiss. These bats are mamas and papas too. They care for their young just like we ponies do.
Where did I put my fucking controller?
Give me a break, you're being too kind. These creatures have a one-track mind. The orchard is not their restaurant. But do they ever think what others may want? No, they don't, and that is just a fact. These bats, they simply don't know how to act. I'll make myself lonely for you. The only one that can handle the truth.
I'm so terrible. Also, why is my mouse so laggy?
Your inhibitor is respawning soon. Unstoppable. team has destroyed a turret. Triple kill. Aced. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
Those vampire bats will give you a fight. Eating apples don't stay in bed. They rest for a minute, they be free. Then they're eating every apple in your apple tree.
I have to restart my PCs. My mouse is not right.
They don't care about water,
Like
not zilch, no nothing.
2,400 guys, extremely twitchy. The lower one is just, well, I never use the lower one, but it's just off. There's something wrong.
These vermin must be stamped right. I second that they've got to go. These bats, they've got to hit the road. It comes down to just one simple fact. They cross the line, it's time that we attack.
Wait just a minute, there's another side to this. And if I did not defend them, then I would be remiss. These bats are mamas and papas too. They care for the young just like we ponies do.
Oh, give me a break, you're being too kind. These creatures have a one-track mind. The orchard is not their restaurant. But do they ever think what others may want? No, they don't. And that is just a fact. These bats, they simply don't know how to act.
use my hourglass once. Good job. Oh god, that was so bad. Jungle man. Nice job. Dude, I have no clue what I'm doing in the jungle. I'm just doing this. Also, where's
What
How could used to see my eyes. The nightmares was the night itself and wise. Hush now, quiet down, it's time to listen. You're way too big. The princess has come to lull you to sleep now. Quiet now, it's time to lay your sleepy head to bed. Hush now, it's a nightmare tonight.
Not sure if I'll survive that. Okay, I will. Could have used my ulti there, like, the ulti would have been epic.
Your turret has been destroyed.
The end is near.
Twice assist. Oh god, how is it still 17 minutes?
Your turret has been destroyed. Enemy rampage. Enemy double kill. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be covering a video I found a while ago from the YouTube channel Be Inspired, titled The Most Eye-Opening 10 Minutes of Your Life. It should have been called The Most Mouth-Opening 10 Minutes of Your Life, as I literally vomited for 10 minutes straight from all the bullshit from this video. So grab your barf bag and let's begin.
I will show you the science of actually how the cells work, and you will have more knowledge than most doctors in the world today because they still believe in the genes.
So this 10-minute video is going to supplant the 8 to 12 years of college, medical school, and internships that would qualify someone as an actual doctor. I highly doubt that. Nor would I want anyone operating on me that claims his medical knowledge came from a 10-minute Be Inspired video.
You are made out of 50 trillion cells, and the cells are the living entities. So you are a community, not a single person.
By this same logic, a car is not a car. It's a community of metal, plastic, and fuel. And that's not how classification works. A single person is a single person because they meet all the criteria needed to define what a single person is. Just as a car is a collection of metal, plastic, and fuel, organized in a way such that it meets the criteria needed.
Thanks for watching this episode of Angry Video Game Nerd on
Needed to classify it as a car.
Every cell in your body has minus voltage on the inside and positive voltage on the outside. Every live cell is a battery. Every cell has about 1.4 volts.
I have no idea where he's getting these values from. Every cell is different. However, the average electrical potential for human cells is about 70 millivolts, not 1.4 volts. Think about it. A AA battery puts out 1.5 volts. Are you really suggesting that each human cell outputs about as much voltage as a AA battery? This is not supposed to be an idiot video, but Bruce Lipton, you're an idiot.
50 trillion cells in the body times 1.4 volts is 700 trillion volts of electricity in your body right now.
There's so much wrong here. Where should we begin? Let's start with the easy stuff, the math. 50 trillion cells, which is a bit high, but we'll go with that for now, times 1.4 volts is 70 trillion volts of electricity, not 700 trillion volts. Now let's address your electric cell claim. A resting cell does have a difference in electrical potential from the outside of the cell to the inside of the cell. Typically, the inside of the cell is more negatively charged with ions than the outside of the cell, which is a more positively charged environment. When stimulated, the cell membranes allow
They shall tremble at my perfection.
the original is even better. And it's even better if you don't play it using the YouTube player, because YouTube has pretty bad equalizer. Download it and play it on Winamp or whatever. It's a lot better. Wait. Also, how do I have energized? What? So confused.
the passage of ions from one side of the cell to the other side, which in turn generates an electrical current. However, biological cells don't generate 1.4 volts of electricity. They generate about 40 to 80 millivolts, and according to nanomedicine.com, the human body as a whole only generates about 10 to 100 millivolts of electricity. So you're getting math and science wrong at the same time and relabeling it as your own science. That's not how that works, Bruce.
And with training and meditation, you can focus this energy called chi, and you can use that energy for healing.
Chi has been debunked over and over, and the only people believing you can take advantage of a supernatural power of Chi are retards like Bruce Lipton. Just ask him to demonstrate the actual powers of Chi, because no one has ever been able to demonstrate what Chi is, how it works, or tangible evidence to suggest that Chi has an impact on our daily lives. But it's fictitious claims like Chi can heal you that makes me want to address videos like these, because those statements can be potentially dangerous to people who are suffering from real illnesses.
All animals and all plants communicate with vibration.
Okay, so many animals on this planet have evolved to communicate through audible vibration. However, animals also communicate with each other through visual communication as well. Many animal species on Earth use visual communication for mating, signaling, and posture. Also, plants don't communicate through vibrations. It's believed that if plants do communicate with each other, it's through chemical signals similar to pheromones.
The gazelle doesn't have to go up to the lion and say, "Are you my friend?" Because at the distance, the energy could be felt and the gazelle will not go there because of that
energy. What the fuck?
Those gazelles aren't feeling the bad vibes of the lion. They're smelling the last gazelle the lion killed on its breath. This is actually a direct product of evolution through natural selection. Without going into a detailed explanation of how this works, I'll try to summarize it quickly. Simply put, the gazelles who are more efficient at identifying predators and fast enough to get away from their predators will have a better chance of reproducing and passing on those genes to the next generation of gazelles. While the gazelles who were less efficient at identifying predators or not fast enough to get away would have had less of a chance to breed and pass on their genes. So today's gazelle is adept at identifying deadly predators and fast enough to get away. Bad vibes. Bad vibes. Get the fuck out of here.
If we, when we were young, were taught to be sensitive to the vibrations, we would not find ourselves in bad relationships and bad places.
Oh, great. So now let's just reduce the responsibilities of abusive and bad relationships down to the abused person, telling them that it's their fault for not reading the bad vibes from the one they trusted. That's not how it works, dickweed, because there are sociopathic people who will genuinely smile in your face to get you comfortable enough to take advantage of you.
But we are usually told not to go by our feelings, but to listen to what people have to say. Language was designed to hide feelings.
And where exactly did you come up with this horse shit? Language is designed to convey thoughts, so that I can tell you that I'm thinking about a tree without having to hope that you can read my facial signals and grunts and know that I mean tree and not something else. Communication systems are a direct consequence of natural selection, as animals who developed effective methods of communicating could coordinate and plan events, pass on knowledge more efficiently, and therefore give themselves a better chance of reproduction and survival versus animals who lack the ability to efficiently communicate.
When we see people, like if I look at the audience or you see us, we see people as physical particles and machines. But that's an illusion, because what we are interacting waves. That's why one person can affect another person just by being in the field.
Now I'm starting to see where Bruce is going with his woo. A field is simply a value for every point in space, and all fundamental particles exist within their own field. An example of this is the photon, which is a perturbation in the electromagnetic field. And to say that seeing people as a collection of particles is being misleading is in itself misleading. Because while it's safe to say that we are all part of a universal wave function, that wave function manifests itself as particles in our reality.
And today, physics studies the vibration, not the physical. In quantum physics, we don't study the particles, we study the waves. And we study how the wave interference.
The waves don't interference, they interfere, you moron. And again, this is a completely vague statement about quantum mechanics, because one of the things quantum mechanics can be attributed to explaining was the photoelectric effect, which shows that light exists in tiny packets of energy known as photons, and they interact with electrons as if they were both particles, not waves. In fact, Einstein won the Nobel Prize in 1921 for this very discovery.
This is an older picture of a new technology called magnetoencephalograph, MEG. EEG, you put wires on your skin and read the brain activity. MEG, the probe does not even touch the head. You can read your brain activity outside of your head. It's not magic. Your thoughts are not contained in your head.
So Bruce is taking science and turning it into his very own barbecue woo sauce. And MEG and EEG are very similar machines with very different medical applications. To simplify, the EEG measures electric signals in the brain with probes on the scalp, while the MEG measures the weak magnetic fields generated by these electric currents. So it's really not registering or measuring your thoughts, as an MEG probably couldn't make out the simple difference in single words, let alone full complex thoughts just from the magnetic signals.
And many people are familiar if you think about someone or talk about someone you haven't seen for years. And I say, oh, I haven't seen my friend John in 10 years. And the phone rings and it's John. Or a letter comes in the mail from John.
Total coincidence, and there is no possible way to argue against this myth. Because if it was more than a coincidence, then you could just think about someone and they would call you all the time. I mean, how many times have you thought about a loved one or an ex-loved one and they didn't even call you? The problem is, the latter happens so frequently that you don't even notice it. But the coincidental events stand out to the mind and are much more impactful.
It's like the placebo-nocebo. When you think very positive thoughts of someone, they make an effort to get in touch with you. But it works both ways. If you have a negative thought about somebody, wherever they are, they will create negative talk about you.
What the fuck? That's not even close to what the placebo-nocebo effect is and how it applies. We'll cover that later, but what you're talking about is karma, the golden rule. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Think positively if you want positive thoughts back, and negatively to get negative thoughts back. It's all bullshit, because by this logic, if I have negative thoughts towards someone, then it's highly likely that I'm having these thoughts because of their negative thoughts about me.
So people know that if you hit the right frequency, you can cause a crystal goblet to explode. It's called harmonic resonance or constructive interference. You are like a tuning fork with your brain, and you're broadcasting frequencies of your thoughts. Which goblet is going to respond to your thoughts? The one that is harmonically resonant with your thoughts.
This is so wrong that it's not even wrong. According to a NASA study, the human body has a resonant frequency of about 10 Hz. Also, the human brain processes about 60 bits of information a second. If we were truly broadcasting our thoughts at a resonant frequency, then our frequency would have to be at a minimum frequency of at least 60 Hz to put out one thought bit per second. Otherwise, bits of your thought bits may not emit to our resonant frequency. See, even I can speak retarded.
If you live in fear, you're not going to activate the Dalai Lama, but you may get Scarface to show up.
If you live in fear, Scarface might show up? That's interesting. So all I have to do is have positive thoughts and nothing bad will ever happen to me. Sounds legit, even though I know it's nothing more than a pile of godforsaken, emotionally pleading horseshit.
Let me be AFK 24 hours.
When a mugger is trying to pick out which person he's going to attack, of the different people walking down the street, which one do you think is attacked? The one who is most afraid.
Nope, wrong again. When predators attack, they typically look for prey that will put up the least amount of resistance. A lot of times fear is factored into it, but ultimately, the decision is more of an instinctual evaluation of risk versus reward.
Because the one who's most afraid will resonate and that means that the mugger doesn't have to do anything, go boom, and everyone will give him everything.
Oh my god, so much dumb to take in. A mugger doesn't just look for the person who is most scared at the time, walk up and say, boo, and they just give them their money. That's some ignorant shit, Lifton. And why would the most scared person resonate? I thought everyone resonates their thoughts. I think you're confusing basic body language with quantum harmonic frequencies of the field or whatever bullshit you want to say.
So when you look at yourself, you're not a single entity, but you are a community of 50 trillion cells.
Well, not really. The set that is defined as you is the collection of 50 trillion cells, just as the set that is defined as Americans consists of about 300 million people who are each a set of 50 trillion cells on their own.
But it's important to understand the word community. Every cell is intelligent.
What?
But when they're in a community, they give up their personal intelligence.
Wait, what?
And respond to the central voice.
What the fuck? The central voice? Where are you getting this petrified dinosaur shit from? Cells respond to electrical signals that travel through the nervous system and tell muscles like your heart how to perform. There is no central voice guiding them, and they aren't fucking intelligent. If they were intelligent, then they would be able to take in information from their environment to develop knowledge and skills. None of that has ever been observed, and your woo will not work here.
Now, we have heard of something called the placebo effect, right? The placebo effect is when you have a very positive thought that something can heal you, even if you don't know it, but it's a sugar pill, but you believe it's the real medicine, then you can heal yourself with that. So the pill didn't heal you, it was the thought that healed you.
I was waiting for you to fuck up the placebo effect. The placebo effect can be beneficial to a patient's treatments in some peculiar way, but never as a healing alternative. Most of the time, the placebo effect is only effective for a short amount of time. For instance, if you have your teeth pulled for a case study on pain medication, you could end up getting a sugar pill that you think is the real medication, and you may actually experience a reduction in pain simply by believing that you have taken the real medication, when in fact you have taken the inert placebo. And while you may convince yourself that your pain has been addressed by the placebo hasn't actually addressed anything.
Statistics reveal that 1/3 of all medical healings, including surgery, are the result of the placebo effect.
Citation fucking needed, because placebos in surgery, also known as sham surgeries, never heal anyone or anything. They are designed as controls to test whether or not an experimental portion of a procedure is truly responsible for the results of the study, without bias or interference from the other parts of the surgery.
Now, the issue is that the placebo effect is when you have positive thinking. What about negative thinking? And this is what medicine does not tell you, is that there is negative thinking, and it's called the nocebo effect. And in the same power that positive thinking can heal you, negative thinking can kill you.
The nocebo effect is simply the opposite of the placebo effect. Whereas the placebo effect can have a positive influence on the patient's recovery, the nocebo effect can cause the patient to experience the side effects of an inert or placebo treatment. The simple fact that the patient believes the treatment will have negative side effects brings on those negative side effects.
The point is that negative thinking can create all the effects of chemotherapy.
Yes, this is true, but it's also true that positive thinking has never cured cancer.
Now think about this. If a doctor tells you you have a disease, or the doctor tells you you're going to die, and you believe the doctor because he's the professional, the belief will give you a disease and can cause you to die.
Do you even know what a disease is? Placebo and nocebo effects aren't responsible for bringing on diseases. They're inert or sham treatments. They actually don't do anything. Placebo treatments are designed to detect non-specific effects of a specific treatment. In other words, placebo treatments are designed to test the side effects that are non-specific, meaning not induced by the actual treatment. An example of this would be if you injured your leg in a car accident. When visiting your doctor, they may give you a placebo for the pain, and you still may experience a reduction in pain. Brain scans done during placebo studies show that the areas of the brain responsible for processing pain can actually be less active with the placebo. Therefore, the patient is actually experiencing less pain. But again, this is all in pain reduction and side effects. Nowhere has it ever been suggested that if you see your doctor and he accidentally tells you that you have AIDS, then your belief in his diagnosis could be strong enough to actually give you AIDS.
In the United States, in the South, there's a religious group called the Baptist Fundamentalists.
Alright, Lipton, you're stepping into my territory now, because for most of my youth, I was actually a Southern Baptist. Now, I never attended any fundamentalist churches regularly, but I did have the opportunity to attend several fundamentalist services.
And this one group works themselves up into a state of ecstasy, religious ecstasy, and they believe God protects them. And so they will work with snakes, poisonous snakes like rattlesnakes, and they will even get bitten by the snake, and nothing happens to them.
Nothing happens to them? Oh, really? Well, what about this guy?
Hey, come on, we gotta go! I feel like I'm maintaining. Am I maintaining, man? No, you're not. You look horrible. Come on. Let's get a couple burritos.
Oh, wait. No, that's just Will Ferrell in the movie The Campaign. Anyways, I think that's where we're going to end the video today. If there's anything I want you to take away from this video, it's that gazelles avoid lions because lions eat gazelles and not because of their vibes. The placebo effect won't cure a disease. And if you really want to worship a thing in the sky, don't do it around poisonous snakes. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around until the end. Unfortunately, with YouTube's new harassment policy, the idiot videos will have to be reserved for the really stupid ones, like flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, and moon landing deniers. And those videos will continue to be produced regularly. On another note, this type of format is easier for writing and editing, so I should be able to increase the number of videos produced and number of topics covered. A special shout out to all of my channel members and patrons whose support helps me keep doing what I love to do, pointing out idiots on the internet. I'm Team Skeptic, and I'm out.
What? Holy crap, how did he not die? Fuck.
I almost felt that.
Enemy double kill. Your turret has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain. Aced.
Basic attacks? What?
Your turret
Ow.
An ally has been slain.
Why the bad? Why, bro?
In case this gets uploaded to YouTube, hello YouTube. Hello. So recently, the Break the Targets record for Melee has finally come under a total amount of 3 minutes for all characters combined. And I used to be quite knowledgeable, a little bit knowledgeable about the Break the Target test because I used to know one of the people that invented a lot of the strategies, AGP Anton. He does a lot of the task videos as well. Yeah, this is the task ones. So task is 244. There's not even that big of a difference. And you can see here, summed total via agpanton.se. We actually used a team back in the day. He was like my first static teammate. So I thought I'd look through these and we'll see. If I can explain something, I'll explain. And if I can only react and open my mouth and all, I will do that. Sounds good? So I already watched this one just before starting the video, but the weird thing, sounds good? So I already watched this one just before starting the video, but the weird thing here is that the upbeat angle is crazy high. And apparently people didn't know that you could do this like with this steep of an angle. You barely hit it, and then you drift forward and then you drift backwards so you get the slip off. After you get the slip off, alright, hello YouTube editor. You can include this in the beginning with the slip off edge cancel stuff. So slip off is technically when you have enough momentum and you keep holding forward so you keep falling off the edge. Edge cancel is what you're actually doing, but if you let go of the controller, like he does here, he wavelands and then instantly lets go of the control stick. You just cancel your lag. You stay on the platform so you can do the side B without falling off. Smash DI is the act of the same time as you get hit, you freeze. Now you can tap the control stick in a certain angle and you will move instantly while you're still technically frozen. This is used to basically survive hits longer in multiplayer VS modes But in these speedruns, you use them to move exactly where your character wants to be. And you'll see it used to, get further along, closer to the next target. To be clear, you can input one direction every single frame in the 60 frames a second. So a human could never possibly input like these many different angles at this speed. Who is Taz? It's my best friend, the best player of all time. Just to be clear, if you do not know, Taz stands for Tool Assisted. After you get the slip off, you waveland on perfectly so that you can start jumping right away. Barely make it. Alright, so let's look at the task one. This fucking song. He used to pick the song so weirdly. He said that he had like a massive Spotify playlist that he like found all the songs. Jesus Christ, the wavelet. So what's the big difference on this one? Slightly better movement. That pill like barely lands. Perfect up B angle. Same thing here. Oh, he turns around. Look at this one. And then wavelands. Okay. But yeah, the wavelands are crazy. But this is the task version, right? And this was uploaded in 2010, right after I started playing. Alright, so next up is the Mario one. This one was broken in 2012. Double hit there. All these non-impact lands. This is when you have almost no landing lag. See, he jumps here and then he instantly lands and jumps to the other one. You barely ever use these in actual matches, but they are possible to use. And then, yeah, just barely seeing fireballs on both of those. That was really good. But now, let's see the task version. I feel like it should be mostly the same. Yeah, that's the same. This is basically exactly the same. 736. How is it so much faster? Oh, I think it's this jump. This jump seems a lot faster. Opening is different. Downer, upper, upper. Fireball, fireball. Okay. Oh, yeah, it is different. I wonder why they don't do the downer. Maybe it's like super specific. That's a massive difference. I feel like that one could probably be approved. And then yeah, let's see the fireball. Yeah, that one's like very different. And yeah, you probably get a different cycle as well on the moving platforms. Alright, so next up is Luigi. This one is the craziest one. I swear to God. Everything happens so fast. Alright. Slow motion. Right. So he jabs one, but go is still up. Jumps. Fireballs that one. The one most out of the way. Fireball other way. Catches the one rising here. Back here, last possible frames. You get a weak hit, so you have less hit lag. Like the hit stop is shorter. Fireball. And then down B for the double and the last one. That's how it works, right? Like lower hit lag means that you take the target faster. So like for Falco's knee, for example, with a weak hit is a lot less. It's slightly faster. Yeah, okay. You have Saced and Moody here. You can see on the screen as well. Alright, and then the task one. The task one is only 0.5 faster. And this is by AGP as well. Actually, the exact same strategy. So just like small optimization. I feel like the fireball is different. See how he falls here? Maybe not actually. Yeah, same strat, just has inputs. Oh, onto Bowser, 8-15. Dude, I saw Armada play this one. This beginning was super fucking hard. Because you have to do the flames here, barely touch that one, smash the flipper here, then jump and perfectly fade back with fair. And this is without C-stick, by the way. You cannot use C-stick during break the targets. And then auto cancel it, up B, auto cancel again, and slip off into downer. I mean, slip off the downer, get the landing hit, and then back it. Double jump back there. Actually. Wow, look at that smash DI. So this time he smashed DI so much that he doesn't even land on this part. This one. Ooh! What was that? Oh, it's a waveland. That looks so fucking clean. Alright, the next one, there's a big ass video about. If you want more actual knowledge, I might watch this one on stream. Check out Practical Tasks Peach. Watch this one. It's a 1 hour video and it goes through all of it. Basically, there's a lot of RNG to get the right items, and there's different ways to manipulate it. Let's watch this one. Regular one first. A B gets Beam Sword. Catches it again. Jesus Christ, that strategy is so different from what I thought it would be. I thought you would go above here. So clean. That's a not. Oh, okay. So if you don't get Beam Sword, you use the different strategy. The Waveland throw on the last target. You don't Waveland, right? You just fall. Yeah. You barely land. So you get another float, then pass one. Actually, not that much faster. It's very different though. Holy shit. Float in air, edge cancel, edge cancel. What's up? Nair. Okay, regular turnip. Bomb. And then the fall off. Jesus Christ. Nair. Are you serious? E nairs, slip offs again, and with another pull for the beam sword. Oh, now I see what you mean. Yeah, you glide toss, you air dodge throw the. See how here, he very, very slightly like speeds up when he throws. That's because you air dodge and then throw. It's an Avicii song. And then he has so much time because he's waiting for that one. I think he short hops. I think. This is so fun. There has been so much work put into these things. Yeah, TAS is a lot faster. So regular Peach is 946. TAS one is 780. That might be the biggest difference. Yeah, exactly. So the reason why he did the downer at the end is because he's waiting for the sword to hit. So he just does it for flash. So egg, egg. Wasteland, back here. I've actually seen this one a lot because I watched Amsa when he was trying to break it. Barely out of the air hits that one. Alright, so this is 721 and the test is 680. Oh, it's out. It's zoomed out. This one was broken super recently. 2016, December. Oh, this is an optimization of AGP Anthem's fantastic strat. Right. So AGP Anthem came up with a completely new strategy, but he fucked up and he missed one frame of optimization, and then Practical Tasks realized it and stole the record. But it was broken like 3 times in like 2 days or something. Oh, and he used the fair at the end. So what's different here? He used the up B. So he instant lands here. Whereas the regular strategy jumps back and does it. And then lands with an air.
Enemy double kill.
Yeah, I just got looted. Oh god.
Yeah. Then slip off, back air, fair. Head to head versus past records. Oh, this is really cool. Yeah, you see the difference in strategy. One of them jump forward. That's really cool. Alright, so next up we have DK. Okay, so what he does here is really hard to tell, but he does it and then F tilt, I believe. Someone please confirm that. Yeah, it looks like an F tilt or a down tilt. Is it jab? Oh, really? It looks like it. Okay, so pivot jab, and you barely hit the back target. Wavelands, slip off, double nair, triple nair, fair slip off nair. This one just looks super fucking satisfying. And it's 838. TAS is 758. Jesus, that's a big difference. This one has no stun. Okay, so this one does jump and then back air sometimes. And then waveland. What does he even do here? Jump, neutral B to turn around, waveland to land, jump, arch neutral B, cancel it, jump, back air while rising, slip off, jump, neutral B turn around, waveland, slip off, turn around fair, like he turns around and jumps fair. Flip off again, turn around with neutral B, cancel fair. Double jumps barely before the waveland. You get extra momentum. Nair, fair nair. Jesus Christ. Let's watch this one full speed. Makes DK look like a fucking technical player. Damn. That was a crazy strategy. I can see now why there was such a big gap. And yeah, that one's gonna be really hard to optimize for humans. So I've actually done this strategy. This is the one strategy I've practiced. You jump, instantly double jump, nair, so you barely land on it. Jump, get no impact land. Jump, double jump. Wall jump up air. Fall nair. Then you land here. Some strategies uses back air for this target, the one right here. But this is the faster cycle where you catch it as he's rising, as it is rising, and then you do short up nair, first hit, second hit. Did you do waveland? Again, up air, slip off, rising nair for both of them. Last hit a weak knee, up air. That was a crazy one. And it is a whooping 0.60 worse. Half a second worse than test run. So what's different? He does up air, turn around, waveland, nair, same strategy here. Jesus Christ. So he does up air here instead, where the regular Falcon took it like that, dropped down. So he's so much faster that he gets on a different cycle. So for this one, where the Falcon previously catches it here, right? Past Falcon is all the way over here. And I think he does the back air so he doesn't get hit into it. Fast falls, lands perfectly for the auto cancel. Up air, up air. This one's super dark. Jab, the first one. Land on the platform. That fucking nair. Yeah, recap. Up air, nair for double. This one. First hit nair for that one. the other one gets hit, and you slip off, and then he hits the last one through the wall. Yeah, because there's 2 left right now. Up air, and yeah, he hits it. It's like over here. This is a complete. What the? This is so fucking different. He goes the completely different direction. So he does jab, goes over here, up air, triple hit, auto lands, auto cancels, then he uppies into the spikes, massive smash DI, and then techs the other side, uppers right after. Then he nairs, slip offs, dash dances because he has time and needs to wait for the cycle anyway, jumps, fairs, and then in same hits as he hits the target, he gets hit as well. Basically trades but with the spike. The same smash DI, slip off here on this thing, platform, which causes him to, without having lag, but he still carries the momentum, falls off up air, and then gets the second one with all the momentum. Sampa. This guy is from Sweden too, I believe. I'm pretty sure he lives as the same region as some of my friends Uppsala. This is so hard to see though. But this strategy is so dope. I love talking like this. So what you do here, I think you down air and slip off them, slip it off. It's so hard to tell. But yeah, you see the one like passing through right here. Laser, laser. Smash the ice, slip offs. Gets the back air there. And
let me guide you.
Oh god.
Well, this is exactly what happens when you pander to a certain group of people. That's why there's a saying that the left eats itself or something along these lines. It's really sad because I think the left is used as obviously in a derogatory manner, but really they mean the far left, who are just as crazy as the far far right, except they seem like they have superior numbers if you only look at a place like Twitter. The reality is, in the real world, they are a minuscule group of people like a chihuahua barking at an elephant. It's just irrelevancy if you understand context, if you leave the bubble that is Twitter. But Stephen King has long been very public about his suffering of TDS. He, while has written some good works, I think it's safe to say that most of his best work is far behind him. Books like It, stories like It or Pet Sematary, they just don't, you just don't outdo those. I mean, he tries with sequels and he just puts out books like Verbal Diarrhea like he does on Twitter, but most of them are just suboptimal these days. If you're into Stephen King, maybe I'm just not into the right books. I admit most of my interaction with Stephen King these days are film adaptations, with which I know the films are never as good as the books, but I have 2 hours sometimes, not 2 weeks, to read a book, or 2 months for as long as it takes me. But nonetheless, the man has made some pretty crazy claims if you just follow him on social media. But today he dared savagely to suggest that award ceremonies should ignore skin color and should award the quality of the work. Shocking, right? That did not go over well. It's funny because Stephen King is concerned about getting awards as a white male. Just think about that. He knows the score. He knows that anytime a white male wins an award, whether they deserve it or not, I don't know. It depends on a case-by-case basis. There's going to be that specter around it, like, ugh, Oscar's so white, or ugh, another white author. Even if they deserve it, social media is insane. Now, this kind of stuff wouldn't bother me because I know Twitter is not reality. Twitter is a small subset of actual people who don't, really represent people you'd meet on the street or in your local pub. So if people were screeching on Twitter about me winning an award and being a white male, I wouldn't care. The difference between me and Stephen King, other than a authoring writing career, is that Stephen King needs these people. He panders to these people. He is, and always has been, one of the loudest TDS people, anti-Trumpers out there. So when he steps out and accidentally sticks his foot in his mouth, it gets pretty great. So he writes, as a writer, I'm allowed to nominate in just 3 categories: Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Screenplay. For me, the diversity issue, as it applies to the individual actors and directors anyway, did not come up. That said, I would never consider diversity in matters of art, only quality. It seems to me that to do otherwise would be wrong. Red alert! Stephen King has uttered the meritocracy word, the sheer insanity, the sheer unmitigated gall of him to suggest that the best person should win the award did not get received well by Twitter. He then has to work to backtrack it. The most important thing we could do as artists and creative people is make sure everyone has the same fair shot, regardless of orientation, color, whatever.
Please reach level
right
2 now.
Such people are badly
Fuck's
underrepresented, and not only in arts. You can't win awards if you're shut out of the game. Now, this is of course backtracking significantly, as his original tweet went bananas. With all due respect, I'm afraid that meritocracy could only work if the game wasn't rigged. White men are 35% of the population. It's not logical they produce 100% of quality art. Statistics, there's that, what's the saying? There's lies, there's damn lies, and then there's statistics. This is one of those perfect examples. I like that people are disagreeing somewhat respectfully, but also getting savaged if you look at more of the other pieces, like Notice how quality is framed as an innately the opposite of diversity, parentheses, whiteness. Diversity is not a deficiency and not charity. Stephen King is a perfect example of why these award shows are so white. You can have not interested in canceling Stephen King or J.K. Rowling. That's a good take. We regret to inform you, Stephen King is yet another privileged, cis-het white man supporting racism and misogyny. Yeah. Stephen King savaged by woke mob for saying art should not be judged on quality, should be judged on quality and not diversity. This on Summit News by PJW. Author Stephen King is facing potential cancellation from the woke mob after response to Oscar nominations by saying art should be judged on quality, not diversity of its creators. King was responding to controversy around the Oscars nominations being too white and too male. Again, there is no such thing. If all of the, put it this way, if all of the nominees were black, people would be celebrating that. If they're all white, people say there's inherently a problem with that and that there's racism and all sorts of things like that. Think about that. If you would celebrate it being all black or all women, then you're part of the problem. Vogue reported that choices were pretty poor showing for, well, anyone other than straight white men, complaining that no females were nominated for Best Director and 0 performers of color were nominated for Best Supporting Actor and Best Supporting Actress categories. King responded on Twitter by daring to suggest that potential winners should be judged on their merits and not their genitals or skin color. As a writer, I'm allowed to nominate 3 categories. We read that tweet. For daring to suggest that movies should be judged solely on whether they are good or not, King faced immediate backlash from the woke Twitter users. When films created by people of color, irrespective of quality, constantly get overlooked for institutions that are predominantly comprised of white men, there is an implicit bias at work here, responded Morgan Jenkins. Exactly how do you know that? So let's say that you know that the people that vote for the Oscars are predominantly white men. Maybe that's a fact. I don't know that it isn't, so let's presume it is. How do you know that the voters are racist? You're just saying they are? You have no evidence of that. Simply because they didn't vote for a worse movie or a worse actor on their skin color, that means they have a problem with race? This is the... Anytime you get in an argument with some of these people, here's what you do. And I know this bothers people.
What?
But you talk slow, and you make them
Did I just kill with
their own argument.
What?
Somebody says, yeah, did you hear Stephen King said, you know, that the Oscars being so white wasn't a problem? You say, oh, that's interesting. Why are people saying it's a problem? Oh, well, because it is. What is that old... I think I took this management class at one time. I forget whose actual... it was like the rule of 3. You ask somebody the same question 3 times to kind of root down to their actual answer. And then by the time you root down to it, you say, well, why is it a problem that they're all white? Oh, okay, well, how do they know that these people... Is there some sort of thing online indicating that the voters have a problem with race? By the end of it, they will have to say out loud that they're insane and they have no evidence of it, and there is in fact no problem. I mean, inherently, if you don't prove that there is some personal beliefs leading to voting, then you don't know that there's any problem at all. Sir, respectively saying, you as a white man can't really say that. That's racist. That statement in and of itself is racist. You have more advantages and opportunities than a person of color would have. No, you don't. They have been wrongfully held back in just so many ways because of the color of their skin. No evidence required. And by the way, Hollywood, which touts its diversity and whines and has these hissy fits every time there isn't enough of a quota of men or women or people of color or whatever. You expect me to believe that these people are holding people of color back? I mean, I think if you believe that, then you're just as likely to believe that they're artificially propping up people of color to get their woke points. The backlash from the woke mob is particularly funny given that King panders to them 99% of his time with his endless anti-Trump diatribes, but 99% is not enough. Unless you show snowflakes devotion to the cult, flawless devotion to the cult, you will be canceled. Daily Wire. Stephen King says art should be judged on quality, not diversity. Gets torched. by leftists online. And again, I won't say leftists, I will say far left. I know a lot of people that would consider themselves leftists watch my videos, and I don't think that this describes all of them. I think if you watch my videos, you already know how I feel about cancel culture, and you probably agree with me. Author and reliable progressive critic of President Donald Trump, Stephen King has made waves in the leftist online outrage mob when he suggested that the Oscars honored quote quality, and Oscar voters didn't need to be concerned about diversity. The Oscar nominations released on Monday made their own waves, and among leftists who complained that no women were nominated for Best Director, King revealed on Twitter that he is an Oscar voter, having penned several adaptations for his own novels for the silver screen, feeling a need to explain that the process behind the Academy Awards voting process. King said that the quote diversity issue did not come up, and that he, like others, made their choices based on equality. Isn't that funny? How people have such a problem with this. I don't understand. This is definitely a baby's mindset, like a toddler would react this way.
Wait, didn't
you would say
didn't we just
voter, like, I'm
do
a Hall
that?
of Fame, let's say I ever was a Hall of Fame voter for NFL or MLB, which would never happen because I don't cover sports. But let's say hypothetically, I'm voting on the best athlete for the job. That's what most people do, except in Pete Rose's case. Let Pete Rose in. What? Come on, guys. Anyway, and look, that's how I feel. Pete Rose should be in the Hall. And the fact that he gambled is not a reason to continue to hold him out. And most voters would probably vote him in, and those that don't vote for him specifically based on that are jerks. Same with the Oscars. I highly doubt any Hollywood elites are not voting for black folks solely based on the color of their skin. But maybe like the 2016 election, maybe when the doors closed, these people that are so openly woke, whining about underrepresentation, when the doors are closed and they have the privacy of their own homes, they're actually voting for the good films. Look at what happened to Joker. Everybody, if you believed all the woke outrage online, you'd think that Joker wasn't going to get a single nomination, and they got 11. They're likely to tie Titanic and Ben-Hur. So maybe, just maybe, in the shadows, these people actually believe in meritocracy and not insane Twitter rambling. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Has been slain. Every step, a new journey. Triple kill.
Fucked up.
An enemy has been slain. Godlike. The whole world. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. Killing spree. An enemy has been slain. Legendary. Your team has destroyed a turret.
What? Didn't deal any damage at all. What the fuck?
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're doing well. Today, we've got an interesting news story, but before I start into that, I want to thank you all for dominating, clicking that like button, and leaving comments on these videos, because we're actually gaining a little bit of traction again on YouTube. I didn't think that day would ever come, and it's because of 100% because of all of your engagement. So thank you. Now, I covered Doctor Who the other day. In fact, just covering in general that the show does have some elements. The cast and crew definitely has plenty of woke characters in it, and well, audiences are rejecting the show. Now, the prevailing narrative up until this point was just that people don't like Wong, so that's why the Doctor Who runs the new Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who is doing so. But I don't think that's it. I actually think it's more complex than that. I think that there are just fundamental problems with the show. Audiences don't like being preached at, but you got to remember that some significant chunk of the Doctor Who audience probably doesn't feel like they're being preached at. They probably agree with the things that are being said, and that they like that wokeness is being injected into their television shows. So it's not everybody that doesn't like that type of thing. But I reported the other day about historically low audience scores for Doctor Who Season 12, and guess what? Guess what Rotten Tomatoes did? They deleted all the audience scores. That's right, just like they did with Captain Marvel a year ago. They have now done that again to defend another woman. This time it's Jodie Whittaker. After seeing the review scores, the audience scores, I think I saw them as low as 13%. I'm actually looking. 39%. It was 39% when I made my video a couple of days ago. And now, what do you think it's at? Well, it's at 7%. 7%. And that's after deleting all of the show, after deleting all of the comments or user reviews. You see here, as pointed out by Vera Dark, Rotten Tomatoes removed all of the Doctor Who audience ratings, but now the audience score is at 8%. Well, now it's at 7%. And if we look at what is really great screenshot here by Sheila Aliens, I think I've mentioned her before. I should probably give her a follow. She's got a nice time lapse here. You can see the scores went to 0, then back up to 95%. Now more reviews, all these screenshots coming in after deleting and resurfacing them. You have audience scores coming in at all 5. January 4th, more reviews trickling in, trying to manage all of that. Then January 6th, more reviews popping in here. And then eventually January 8th, January 9th, this is all via the Wayback Machine. Then January 12th, you see, which was yesterday, they quietly deleted all of the user reviews. They didn't think people would notice. And now, guess what? I'm covering this video, I'm covering it, and I'm hoping that if you're watching this video, that you'll help share it too, because it feels like Rotten Tomatoes is one of the most corrupt review websites I've ever seen. And more people need to know about it. I think I read your comments, obviously. Whenever I cover, like, Rotten Tomatoes does corrupt thing, many of you are already in the know, so you're like, yeah, water is wet. I agree, Water. You know, I agree that I didn't expect anything less from them. But the thing is, the audience outside of here, that's why sharing the videos and telling people that Rotten Tomatoes is compromised. Because they need to know this as well. And the critics just don't care. The critics who are in here, who get their, how would you say, their clout by reviewing movies on Rotten Tomatoes, they're not strong enough. They're not, they probably agree with it, although I don't know this for sure, but why is nobody calling this out? Why is nobody pointing this out? I haven't seen a single article calling out interference with Rotten Tomatoes. Why? Why is that? Then you look at back on New Year's Day, or the day after New Year's Day, struggling Doctor Who attracts worst ratings under Jodie Whittaker as millions of fans snub the show on New Year's Day. Doctor Who bosses probably wish they could take the TARDIS back to a time when the show was still a guaranteed ratings hit. On New Year's Day, the struggling sci-fi series attracted its worst viewing figures under the new Time Lord Jodie Whittaker. Now, I don't, by the way, okay, for the record, I don't think that it's just Jodie Whittaker's fault. She's doing the best she can with the script that she's got, and you know, am I a big fan of the female Doctor? I guess I don't really care. I don't care about that. If it's good writing and you can write it in a way that feels natural, totally fine with it. I don't care. Now we all know why she's a female now, but ultimately, if the show is good, I think that the reviews would be solid. Now, if you look at a site like Rotten Tomatoes for reviews, I don't think that there is a huge number of people that review TV shows as an audience member, especially in season 12. So obviously you're going to get a disproportionate number of fans who just really dislike it that are the ones leaving the reviews. Is this show a 7%? No, but it's pretty hilarious to see. Wednesday, the show peaked at just over 5 million viewers. At one point, just fell to just 4.88 million. The TV Insider says, Beat bosses were hoping the downturn in ratings towards the end of the last series was just the novelty of Jodie's arrival wearing off a bit. But the fact that the new season seems to have fared even worse will have them worrying whether it has less to do with who portrays the Time Lord and a signs of a greater problem with the show. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Look, you can have a female main character in a show and not have all these stupid woke storylines, and then have your actors going off on Twitter and social media talking about, you know, oh yeah, we thought going back and portraying Harriet Tubman would be a great thing, that, you know, our viewers needed to be reminded that, you know, slavery was bad. Yeah, we all know, alright? Nobody needs to hear that from the BBC. After all, the debut episode aired on a day when many people were still off work and school, so it should have attracted a more substantial audience. However, another insider said, the Doctor Who was the most watched show on the BBC One on New Year's Day. The second most watched show on Emmerdale on ITV. The new season's adventure Spyfall, a two-parter inspired by James Bond films, continues Sunday night. The series will now air on Sunday nights too. Spyfall stars Stephen Fry and MI6 Spy Master and blah 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 blah. Well, it's interesting. In a sensational twist, Sacha Dhawan joins the cast of the Doctor's longtime nemesis as the Master. It marks the first time Time Lord has been on screen since last New Year's Day when Jodie was seen battling the Daleks. The slump in viewers comes after the Beep didn't bring the show back in 2019, failing to capitalize on the renewed interest in Doctor Who. I'm sure show bosses over here. I'm not sure if that follows, so maybe they're talking about ITV there. Nonetheless, it's pretty interesting to me to see, you know, we look at this, let's see if it even changes. No. We all know, I mean, heck, I bet you that just for funsies, I bet you we could look at, I'd be willing to bet that you're going to see Star Wars still at 86% user reviews. Now, first of all, I want to be clear and say I do support Rotten Tomatoes going to a verified user review, 100%. However, Star Wars and the Rise of Skywalker proved that that wasn't enough for them. That they were still going to manipulate the overwhelming score. It's still at 86% with 90,000 reviews. A statistical impossibility, all right? let me put it that way. There is 0 effective percent chance that a film that started at 86% with less than a few hundred reviews is still at 86% at 90,500 reviews. You'd probably be more likely to win the lottery than to ever have that happen statistically. Now, the tomato meter's still giving it a 53%, and I'm not sure we're ever really going to know what it is that the critics really hated more. I think that many of them reacted negatively to the wiping away of, so to speak, the Ryan Roundhead Johnson The Last Jedi stuff and too much fan service, but I refuse to believe that the audience score is an 86. It should probably be somewhere in the 70s, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do to this audience score. You can just look at some of them. That's it, I'm out. The show is no longer for me. Gosh, bad writing, bad acting, bad sets, bad costumes, bad music. What is the show masquerading as Doctor Who? I'm afraid this Doctor Who, it's not Doctor Who anymore. It's terrible now. The ideas are awful. The dialogue is a joke. And on top of that, we're getting more PC messages rammed down our throats. By the way, you're not seeing where are all the woman, no woman should be the Doctor. These are all legitimate criticisms about the show in general. This is the worst Doctor Who series ever. The show is so stale and boring, I would rather watch an infomercial. Poor, in one word. Poor writing, poor acting, poor concept, poor interpretation of the characters, poor filming. 1 star. These are all 1 stars. Here's one from Marianne. Not worth it. The show has lost its magic and has become preachy. Don't waste your time on it. The failure continues as they try to pander to fans by bringing back classic Who villains, and yet they have still failed on the greatest opportunity they had to breathe new life into the show. This direction is awful. 1 star. The 3rd episode simply drops subtlety that goes straight for a drops subtlety and goes straight for the sledgehammer, with the new episode literally ending with a 4th wall breaking monologue straight to the camera, chastising the audience. I couldn't care one whit for anyone on the cast, and the dangers were all predictable and manufactured. I've seen 10-year-olds write more nuanced and more subtle scripts than this. Sci-fi is supposed to be about taking current issues and settling them into a fantastic futuristic setting and making a point. Not just setting it on, quote, spoiler and saying, it's all your fault. Way to turn a great show into drivel. I love it. I love seeing reviews that look like they're clearly written by longtime fans of the show. And I love seeing how none of these reviews are, I don't want a woman doctor, which is what all the media is going to write. And what happens is you get these bad reviews, right? Here's what I predict. By the end of the week, you're going to see this article. Doctor Who trolls Review Brigade Doctor Who, and they're all misogynists, and they all hate women, and they're all evil neckbeards in their basements. And then when you write that article, what happens? Guys like me cover it. Other people who cover fandom news cover it, and then everyone mobilizes and sticks it to you with even more negative reviews. These types of reviews now that exist, I think, are from pure fans, because you're not seeing a lot of shill versus fan articles. But once they come out, and I'm sure they will, it's going to be interesting what Rotten Tomatoes does again as they continue to try to rewrite history. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk again real soon.
Peanut butter on a burger? Peanut butter on a burger can work. Peanut butter on a burger can definitely work. Oh god, I like didn't even know what character I was. I was like,
Oh.
which one of these am I? Am I Janemba? Your stomach can't digest red meat. I'm sorry to hear that. That kind of does suck, but on the bright side, your stomach can't digest red meat. I'm sorry to hear that. That kind of does suck, but on the bright side, the red meat is like really bad for the environment. So you're doing your part by not eating beef. This is what you asked for, folks. This is what you asked for. Oh, he went to the other side. This guy's good. No! Alright, time for the Frieza comeback. I'll just do everything I learned in that last match. What? How did he go through? What? Oh, jeez. I'm so scared. My one hit that I'm gonna get all round. Okay, this is going poorly. Oh, nice combo. Cool use of Janemba assist. You like to see it. That's a dead Frieza, dude. Oh, man. The one upside here is at least I don't have to play this team for that long, because I'm going to get 3-0'd so fast. A close game, though, yeah. I'm going to match 5M. Oh my god, what was that cross-up? Nice. He baited the anti-up-tech setup. That was good. No. I don't even know what to say. I feel like I'm not even talking because I'm so depressed by how bad I'm losing. How little I know these characters. Gohan does so much damage too. Alright, let's go hit. Let's go. Do one Klappa and you automatically win. No, I just gotta land the Klappa. The Klappa. Okay. This is the stance. You guys like that optimized combo? Fully optimized, boys. Oh, that Yamcha call. Alright, this is definitely a dead character. Teen Gohan gets so much damage off of 2L. It's ridiculous. You might even be able to kill meterless. Not quite. 2 meters. This is the sticks. Play Cyberman.
Fuck.
Wow, he did a projectile counter. What a god. I forgot Geneva even had that. This is going so poorly. Lo-fi hip-hop. Let's go ahead and spark. Get air dash on. Not entirely sure why I didn't block that. Just because I'm bad, I guess. Ugh! Yo, these combos! These combos! This is sick. Okay. Okay, that's two. That's two, boys. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. We just need to land one clap up. We have yet to really land a clean hit with Nappa this entire set, to be honest. What? How did he escape? How did he escape my godlike setup? Oh my god, that's a reset. This is... How could you do this to me, Ultra John? He actually teched up. What a god. There he didn't. He's like teched down so many times. Whoa! Was that an intentional reset? That was ridiculous. Nappa! Nappa, why? Come on, bro, you had it! You had it, bro! Nappa! You had it, bro! That was your chance to clap! That is not a real combo, boys. I know everybody watching the VOD is gonna be so mad, too. They're gonna be like, why don't you know how to play these characters? Listen, this was not my choice. This was thrust upon me. This is so bad. This is so bad. Okay, last chance to salvage something with Frieza. He didn't start with the projectile counter this time. We could have actually hit him with the projectile. Of course, that match advantage. Yeah, maybe I should use the discs in that situation to try to steal some plus frame. Am I just dead, actually? I'm just super dead. Holy cow. Holy camole. What? The one bright side is I don't have to play this stupid game anymore. Oh my god. Oh, we got a new one. Cell, Broly, Vegeta. Let's do it. Alright, let's try this. This seems like a good team. His team seems a little better, but this seems pretty good. There we go. We're off to a good start.
An enemy is unstoppable. An ally has been slain.
Man! We can still kill Child. Why did he do that? Why did he do that, though? Every Chicagoan you know from when you lived there and loved White Castle? That's interesting. I liked it even before even when I lived in Indiana. I quite liked White Castle. Like, sure, it's not exactly, like, good, but there's something special about it, you know? He really thought a barrier would work. Yeah, pretty much. No! That was my moment! It's fine, we still got Cell. No! Maybe not for long. Big drop. Okay, we got the empty vanish. That was nice. I actually had a Chicago-style hot dog for lunch today, guys. I was true to my roots here. It was delicious too, man. The sport peppers, the neon green relish. That's what life's all about. Ooh, triple overhead. That was nasty. I might have to make a solo Vegeta comeback. Yeah, I would say so. With ketchup and corn? Oh my god. Ban this guy. Get him out of here. Man, this guy's good. This guy's definitely good. I feel like maybe my killing of Kid Buu so fast was a bit of a fluke. What a god, dude! Okay, we have to spark or else I'm just gonna die. Maybe we could have killed here if we optimized a little bit. But it's fine. I figured he might level 3 there, that's what I was baiting, but let's do. Yeah, 4K to requested team. I know it's a lot, but when I had it at 2K, we were just getting him too fast. And I don't want to end up in a situation where, like, the stream ends and, like, 10 people who requested don't actually get their character played. You know what I'm saying? Wow, that was an interesting setup. Yeah, whoa! Okay, that was sick. That was sick. That was some nice swag at that end. There are the 6 freaks that put mayo on a hot dog. I don't think I've ever had mayo on a hot dog, but like I bet there are hot dog situations where that works. I could imagine that being okay. I mean, like, you put mayo on a bologna sandwich, and what is a hot dog but skinny bologna? It's basically the same thing. There we go. Thought that might happen. Now we get the nice switch into the corner. Completely unintended, but you know what? It makes me look smart. Until I get hit right there. We had it, boys. We had it. Woo. Now we don't need to snap. Just catch in. ketchup on a Coney dog? Wait, what? Is that real? What's the point? It's already got chili on it. That's insane. I'm sorry. I'm not some kind of like hot dog dictator, but that is actual nonsense. Ooh, selling's going on. How long do I ferment my pizza dough? If I'm in a hurry, I do like 90 minutes. But if I'm planning ahead, I do 24 hours. Either 90 minutes on the counter, temp, or 24 hours in the fridge. You get better results the longer as well. The slower and longer it goes, the better it'll taste, but some of us don't have time for that. 24 hours in the fridge to eat the dough. Honestly, it's not bad. Other than like the choking risk, because it's so sticky. You did a 7-day cold ferment? How cold are we talking here? Just in a regular fridge? Like 40 degrees? It really doesn't over ferment after 7 days? Alright, we got him out of there. No, how'd he hit me? I'm so dead. It tasted almost like sourdough. Yeah, I feel like, to me, my test for when pizza dough or bread dough is proof is first of all over double in size, obviously, but also if it smells a little bit like beer, but not like really strong. Like if it smells like really strong and sour, I think people would consider that overproof, and you're not going to get the same level of rise in the oven that you're hoping for, because too much of the yeast is dead. But if it smells a little bit like beer, came back on it. It smells a little bit like beer, but not like overwhelming. Wait, they put tartar sauce on their burgers in Ohio? You guys gotta be trolling me with this insanity, dude. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. First of all, I don't even really like tartar sauce that much. I don't know if that's a hot take. I mean, it's fine for like fish sandwiches or whatever, but I don't usually go out of my way to get it. Putting it on a burger. I'm just trying to get my defensive Vegeta call on. There it is. And then we just get super dashed on. Okay. Okay. Yeah, 7 days sounds insane. I've literally never heard of anyone doing that, but if it turned out well, then I wish you the best. Yeah.
That's right, fools. Mondo.
Yo, Maru. Is that what your name says? I was like, is that Rime Ruru? No. Thanks for the 2-month sub, man. Oh god. I'm getting so destroyed by Kid Buu this round. I had a good team, too. I had a good team, but this guy's better. Mix up too clean. Does this work? Oh, yeah. Jeez. Jeez. They put tartar sauce on burgers in Hawaii? I don't like all this new information that I'm learning. Man, once again, I think I could have killed. I'm being way too unoptimal. But it's fine, you have to kill anyway. Best burger tops for pineapple on burger? They do that in Australia, I know that. It's pretty good. actually like grilled. Like get some char on there. Everyone's always like, every time I tune into the stream, you guys are just talking about food. It's because it's almost dinner time, man. It's hard out here for a streamer. Maybe I should have sparked. Nice. He got out of the throw. Oh, I'm alive. Woo. Woo-hoo-hoo! Okay, one left. Am I a fan of Big and Littles? I've never been. I've seen it. Never been. No, he came at me. Scared, boys. No! I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just done the normal dots. Whoo! Live! No! I really thought about super dashing when I got low to the ground, but I was like, heal down heavy me. Favorite hot dog spot in Chicago? My favorite is Max's. Max's downtown by the Art Institute. That's my favorite for sure. Nothing comes close. Alright, GG's to this man. Well played. We got bodied a little bit.
Sermons. Broken bones teach better lessons.
Simon Dan. Before we begin, it's time I say another huge thank you. We surpassed the 500 subscribers on Saturday. Some of the more regular commenters now. I'd like to say special video next week. Let's get back to today's video. Bench for this one, and another of Nathan's experts, some guy called Randy.
What? No. The following clip correctly explains what's going on. Imagine I am the Philadelphia 76ers center Dikembe Mutombo in the black kit, and the Randy character, the NBA legend and LA legend.
Could I address this Al-Qaeda nonsense? And there was a video put out about a bunch of flat earthers getting astonishing neuron, I think was the name of the video. This gentleman here, where are we? Simon Dan. Right?
You mean no Simon Dan? There's no sign.
Let the storm follow in my wake.
Wow.
are straight in there with the discrediting, aren't they? Absolutely smashing the takedown, Mr. Warrior.
You know, can I just say, Ramsey, before you do, Nathan and I discussed whether we should even talk about this, and we came to the conclusion that we're going to mention it.
Well,
you can mention it if you want.
But I'm happy to just congratulate Alfie on providing the most sounding flat earth proof I've seen from any ball earther in recent times. Honestly, and I'm going to prove it right now.
This should be good.
I agree. So obviously here we have his observation from 30.9 miles away. There is one that was a lot further, 39 miles away. I think he got down to about 4 elevation. But as you know, things converge at the horizon, and it was pretty smudged at that distance. So something that was a 30 mile, 31 mile is always a good viewing position to get some data from. So,
oh, what a surprise! The image that's furthest away is too smudged to use, so they're using another one. Okay, we can deal with that. Please continue.
Essentially, from that distance, 552 feet of the mountain should be hidden, right? So if I show you, this is the high elevation, right? So he went up to an elevation of over 300 feet, much nearer, and he was able to see right down to the little piece of land at the bottom here where the lighthouse is on. So this is from his high elevation. This is what it looked like. Now I'm going to go through some points of interest on these two observations. So this is from the distance at 30.9 miles away, and this is the high observation, right?
Great. Happy with that so far? No issues at all.
So I'm going to be looking for points of interest, because obviously they don't look the same on first glance, right? So on the next thing, what we need to do is we need to find common ground to make sure that what we're looking at is the same part of the mountain and how much of the mountain we're actually seeing. So I've highlighted some positions here on 2 images that are a very, very, very close match. Okay. On the next point, we have a little ledge that comes across to the right here. You can zoom in on that.
No, you're alright. Keep it like that. It's good.
Alright, okay. So, right, 1, 2. So we have a little ledge that comes across here, and we have a little ledge that comes across here. So there's a match in the same locations too. The next point is obviously this very clear piece of rock on the side of the mountain that is evident here as well. And if you look at how they're all 3 are in relation to each other, height-wise and position left and right, they're all identical.
I cannot argue with anything you have said so far. This is a high point.
The next point of interest is the far right-hand side, where this rock comes right off and curls out right at the bottom. It drops off and curls off right at the bottom, just the same on the two images.
Now, hang on. You expect us to believe that this is the same as this? Let's look at them next to each other. It's starting to look a bit dodgy, isn't it? But we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and we'll let them continue.
Next point of interest, a little slightly more subjective. What you've got to realise is that he is actually doing it from a different location. So although they match up, they're not as clear as the rest.
There's a small element of rotation because he's in a slightly different angle.
Exactly, yeah. So like this little rock here isn't evidenced on the side here, but that's just because he's from a slightly different angle, as you've just quite correctly pointed out. There's the ledge that comes out here, there's the ledge that comes out there, and there's the side of the rock,
Now these two are clearly wrong. For starters, what about this little impression? I think you've deliberately chosen this set of impressions to make your model stick. Your set of 2 red lines should be where the arrow is, not in the location where you put them. This is backed up by the fact that the small ledge at the bottom of your red lines in the top photo is completely missing at the bottom of the red line in the bottom.
And lastly, we have again a little piece of land at the bottom and a little piece of land at the bottom here.
Choose things that the people watching are stupid. Surely. How does this even remotely resemble this?
Right? Now, if you take that as a whole, right, forgetting the fact that because this was done at distance, obviously it's compressing it, so it's going slightly, it's being squashed slightly.
That's the point there. It's compressing it, and the best demonstration of the compression is seen in that bottom right-hand corner box. Look at the difference in the height, but it's the same profile.
Exactly.
Oh, it's best shown here. I see. Apart from the fact that none of the other boxes that you've laid out show anywhere near the same amount of compression. The peak, for example, by your own admission, that should be stretched at least, what, 3 or 4 times in a vertical direction? But it's not, is it? Before you say it's only on the horizon, then why hasn't the left-hand side been stretched that much?
This is the most clear evidence that it's the same image, complete image of the same thing in at different distances, right?
Apart from the fact that it's not, based on the points I just made.
This group of flat earthers get it astonishingly wrong.
Yeah.
This is his impression of how much we're seeing from distance, right? This is Burke's impression.
That's me. That's me.
Flax would sit on the top, right, and said that's what we've seen from the 39-mile observation, right? Well, that can't be true, because from the 30.9 elevation point, all this matches.
Yeah. What I've done is, you do us a favour, shrunk down the size of the top image, which is from a couple of feet, and sort of squashed it onto the top, like it's ice cream on top of an ice cream cone.
Nathan, if I had done that, you would see clear distortion in the front. Just so we're clear, here is the first image directly from our video, and here is the overlay that I made. Next to each other, I think it would be fair to say that they are exactly the same, and no stretching or squashing has taken place.
Ramsey?
Yes?
Could you do us a favour? Could you dig out his video and just show my comment on his video? That's the exact point I made. And I just said what he's done. If he classes that as a match for an overlay that's supposed to be the same, he's blind as a bat. But I think he realises that that's not that. I think he honestly realises that that doesn't match, but he's pushed it anyway.
No, I don't honestly realise it's not a match. To be honest, I rushed the cutting out and the overlay. And what do you know? That's pretty good.
Well, what you've got to consider is that first allocated his lowest observational height at 1 foot, not 3 feet or 5 feet or 10 feet. He did it at 1 foot elevation from the furthest distance, 39 miles. Now that is going to compress the height of the image. We know that from our own observations. What it does is squash it. And he has used this unclear 39-mile image, which is pretty difficult to make out anything of interest on this particular image, which is why I used 30.9 miles. It's much clearer. You know, this one was far clearer to work on and compare it.
Oh, come on. How is he healing so much?
What he's done is he's taken that unclear image and he slaps it on the top of the high elevation profile and said this is a match, and it's nothing like a match at all.
Okay, tell you what, let's forget about the first thing. According to you, it's not even acceptable. Let's take the second one that you've already used in the earlier part of your video. Let's use that one. Now, if you were in any doubt before with the old overlay, then I trust this is confirmed worse for you, Ranky. Remember, I'm using the photo you've chosen as being acceptable. There is absolutely no doubt that this second photo taken by RK has a considerable amount of image. Get the calculators, get the math, that sounds
yeah. Ramsey, just can you dig out his my comment on his thing and just read my comment exactly what he put, but then look at his response to it. His response to my comment is ridiculous.
Ridiculous? Oh no, what did I do?
Let's see what's down here. Just how far down is it going to be?
Miles Davis. I've been him around for months.
It would have seen he's still around.
I don't think that's the real Miles. Might be anyway, but keep going, keep going.
I'm going.
It wasn't about 3 days ago.
Okay. Well, all I'm seeing is here, there's a lot of people commenting, and they're patting him on the back. He's got a lot of likes, hardly any dislikes.
Yes, the videos have been received.
You'd expect that.
Yeah.
But essentially, he's got it so wrong. Alkay's got it so wrong.
Ultimate prayer, my little flat earth friend. I think you'll find that you guys have it wrong. Twice.
Simon Down, so about that drop value and the hidden value, overlay match that from curtains to a ball. My point is the mountain should be missing.
Stop. Hello, Findus says you don't need to pick him anybody. Go on.
Quite new geometry, dude. Your shite overlay proves your nonsense is wrong. Why don't you focus on the overlay a little better? Yeah, I mean, essentially, he put this video out pretty quick. He obviously did absolutely no research in it.
Yeah, but look at his response. Read his response.
Everyone can see it matches pretty much perfectly. I would disagree.
Bunch of flat earthers who have been caught lying disagree with my picture which proves said line is legitimate. Who would have thought?
Your point was that the first image of the whole mountain should clearly see it hidden. Right. Well, like I said, you can't really tell what you're seeing on the 30.9 image, let's be honest. It is quite difficult.
And my point in response to Alkay was that any of it is even seen. Not necessarily some of it or all of it, although my position is you can see all of it. My point originally is that none of it should be seen at 39 miles away. Because of the drop value, that puts the base of the mountain that's bigger, higher, the drop value is greater than the height of Elsa Craig. That puts the whole thing behind it.
No, it's clear to see why even a naked mole rat is closer about 10
If he was correct, I would be on the baller side. I would be saying, Simon Dan, you're the man. You've got this so right. Riley and crew got it wrong. They're idiots. But he's completely got it wrong, but he won't even accept it. But that compression point on the right-hand side, 2 boxes on the right-hand side, is proof that it's flat regardless of how it's seen.
So let's have a look. 182 likes, 34 dislikes. Okay, and it's all horse manure.
Yeah.
So I'm going to dislike it.
Oh man, that's not cool. There you were, being all civilised and everything, and then you go and do that. That's ranky off the Simon Dan Christmas card list, I'll tell you that for free.
And Simon Dan, we deliberately didn't respond to this video because, to be honest, you're too stupid to understand the facts that you're looking at, the evidence that you're looking at.
I'm too stupid to understand the facts that I'm looking at. I'm too stupid.
The bit that you're not accepting is that the shadow being cast elsewhere means that the eclipse doesn't happen. But it does. The minute it happens in between the sun.
So how is it on a planet with 7 billion people on it that when the fucking moon blocks out the sun, no fucker sees it?
No, because it can happen
one
on water.
fucking eclipse, literally one eclipse actually, that has in recent memory that no one has seen.
Well, I'm going to have to come back to you in 10 minutes when I find one.
Wow, that's embarrassing. You called me out as stupid and it transpired that you want to believe that there's a solar eclipse that happens every month. YouTube is littered and littered as examples of the examples of the Can't come back from that stuff like that, buddy. Okay, looks like we've done enough here to discredit them again. Are they going to take a third bite of this? And Nathan, the fact you're thinking about not critiquing someone because of the exposure it has given that person shows exactly where your priorities lie. Personally, I'm not bothered. Doesn't matter to me if you have 6,506. Your team aligned with immediate votes. Thank you all again for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. I've been Simon Dan. Have a great day.
Why you have?
Haste. Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
You have to be mad. It's okay.
On today's episode of Why, we are headed to the app TikTok for a TikTok ministry from a user called Atika, whose follower count is admittedly blowing up. Why, you ask? What is TikTok, you ask? I'm Mr. Atheist.